Welcome, welcome, welcome to Elevate Your Game. I am your host and moderator, Mrs. Denise Parker, and we have a special Elevate Your Game today. It is our Entrepreneurs Academy, and we're going to be featuring a wonderful guest who had the dream of ice cream and is taking it from her home kitchen to the stores all across this great nation and throughout the world globally. Miss Executive Chef Liz Rogers. And before we get started, I just want to give you some really quick, you know, little heads up of what you guys can do to actually support EYG, Elevate Your Game, and National College Resources Foundation. You can go to our socials and follow us on NCRF's LinkedIn, Instagram, and our YouTube channel. We're on all social media platforms, but if you want to watch this show, we're definitely on our YouTube channel watching it on NCRF TV. And I'm just super excited about this show. If you didn't know anything about Elevate Your Game is a series to actually elevate your life, elevate your mindset, take our young people to the next level. And what we do at the Entrepreneurs Academy is try to help young aspiring business owners to take their dream from dream to manifestation out in the world, out in the public, so that they can get their brands known and help provide goods and services to everybody. But before we really go deeper into our conversation, I want you guys to follow us, like us, subscribe to our NCRF TV channel so you can learn more about this wonderful program at National College Resources Foundation. Again, I'm your host and moderator, Mrs. Denise Parker, and I can't wait for you to meet our special guest. So let's bring her on. Let's bring on Miss Liz. She's ready to get started. Ready. Are you ready, Liz? Are you back there? Thumbs up. Awesome.
Hi,
Welcome to Elevate Your Game. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it.
Good. And where are you hailing from right now? What city,
I
state?
am in Cincinnati, Ohio currently. So that's where I am in Ohio, and it's hot here. And, we're ready for the summer, ready for some ice
Ready
cream.
for this? I love it. I love it. And having a summer treat with this beautiful brand that you have, Creamalicious. Tell us about who you are and what you provide as a business.
Yeah, as the founder and CEO of Creamalicious, I am also an executive chef and restaurateur. I've had a remarkable journey in the ice cream business. It all started with my passion for culinary arts and my desire to create a unique and indulgent ice cream flavors that would delight people's taste buds. So, my journey in the ice cream business actually began when I realized that there was a lack of diversity and
Mhm.
creativity in the space. I mean, it was just, the same ice creams that have been on the shelf for many, many years. And I know for dessert, for me, it's always after dinner, do you have a scoop of ice cream or do you want a piece of pie or a piece of cake? So I wanted to create something where you can have the best of both worlds. You don't have to choose. And kind of like I'm an a la mode kind of girl. So um, I wanted to challenge the status quo and create flavors that were not only delicious, but also represented the rich cultural diversity of our society. And this led me to experiment with different ingredients and flavors and techniques to develop truly innovative ice cream creations.
Well, let's look at some of these innovative ice cream creations. Now, what is this? What do you have going on? I see ice cream and I also see cream, coffee creamers and stuff like that. So talk about your brand a little bit.
So Creamalicious is the only two-in-one dessert on the market. We take fresh baked pastries, four generation of family-owned recipes from my mom and my grandmother, my godmother, and my aunt, and we bake them in their entirety, and we intertwine them, fold them into a super premium French ice cream. So, with the peach cobbler, you get the crust, you get the peaches, the notes of cinnamon and nutmeg. It's a very culinary inspired dessert, very southern inspired. And same thing with the coffee creamers. It's kind of like sip a scoop. So it's kind of like having a scoop of ice cream in your cup with the creamers. Very decadent, very indulgent brand. So we really wanted to do something to set ourselves out and create our own dessert category because we are the underdogs. So we wanted to make sure that we can compete. So you have to really think outside the box for sure.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about your story. Like, what was it that made you think ice cream? Like, what was that?
Ice cream is the world's number one dessert. It's it just brings memories, from having a scoop to sharing it with your family. Um, what set Creamalicious apart was from our competitors is the commitment to crafting ice cream flavors that tell a story. We're kind of like Disney, we're the storytellers. And it's more than just a dessert, it's an experience. So each flavor is carefully curated to reflect specific culture, tradition, or a memorable experience for our customers. So we strive to capture the essence of these experiences to bring them to life through our ice cream. So whether it's banana pudding or caramel pound cake or pecan pie or peach cobbler, every scoop of Creamalicious is it's an invitation to embark on a flavorful journey.
Excellent. And my assistant, she goes to FAMU and she
Oh,
knows
okay.
your brand very well. And she said her favorite is red velvet cheesecake. She said,
Yeah, my husband graduated from FAMU, so
oh,
that's pretty awesome.
go
So
Rattlers, go Rattlers.
you know
Um,
the the
I
the red
love it.
velvet cheesecake is really cool because it's traditionally it's red velvet cake was the first cake that African Americans ate when they sell it's considered a celebration cake when they got their freedom back. So it's
Mm.
it's really a cool story behind each one of those flavors, and I think a lot of people don't know that.
Well, tell us a little bit more about these stories behind these flavors. I love hearing how you come up with the creativity and inspiration of your brand and being in culinary arts, which is creating food from, inspiration. What is the inspiration behind some of the flavors that you have here?
Well, that porch light peach cobbler, it really comes to mind. Really, I lost my mom a year and a half ago of cancer, but I
Mm.
remember, her making the peach cobblers like on Christmas. You would wake up Christmas morning and you smell peach cobbler, and you would
Mm.
smell the sweet potato pie cooking. And I called it porch light peach cobbler because I remembered these were times when things were just simpler and better. You had friends, you rode your bike. We didn't have internet, we didn't have air conditioning, we didn't have cell phones. We had none of that stuff. So we went out, we did our chores, we rode our bikes, we went out and we played, all day until the street lights came on. And how we knew to come home was the porch light was on. And so my mom always kept the porch light on. So when we grew up and we went away, she would always have that light on, and when we would come home to visit, as soon as you turned on the street, you would see that porch light on. And that really signifies, especially in the South, that no matter how far you go away, no matter how long you're gone, we'll keep the porch light on. We'll be waiting for you. And this house
Oh.
is safe and welcoming. So these are really big things. Like my godmother, Aunt Poonie, she made the caramel pound cake, and she baked all of her pound cakes in cast iron skillets. This cast
Mm.
iron skillet was passed down from her mom's mom to her mom, and so on and so forth. And this cast iron skillet has been in the family over 100 years. So Creamalicious is a
Mm.
generational brand, and
Mm.
these are so many different things that this brand encompasses because it really resonates with everybody. Each
Mhm.
flavor somebody can really relate to.
I like the fact that you're incorporating legacy and
Yeah.
generational,
Hmm.
passing down the baton. I can relate to that. When you have the inspiration of your family members or your ancestors, and you're the young person looking up at what they're accomplished, whether they are known in the neighborhood or known throughout the community outside the world, wherever they're known at, whether they're in the church or in their schools or just in the community or a little bit more broader,
Hmm.
um, just having that name recognition that gives you the honor or pride, it's hard to live up to sometime.
Yeah.
And you, as a young entrepreneur in the making, what was some of the inspiration that kept you going to keep you like waking up, like, I gotta do this, not just for myself, but for my family and for my future?
I think that for me, I am a visionary. So
Mhm.
we all have a creative spark within us. We all have purpose. We all
Mhm.
have something inside of us that are gifts. We are all born and blessed with gifts. Now, whether
Mhm.
you utilize that or know what your purpose is or take the time to really hone in on what your gift is to the world, is that's a different story. But for me, I understood what my purpose was. I understood that, there was no African American presence in the ice cream category. Creamalicious is the first and only African American ice cream and coffee creamer manufacturer and mass production in the world today. But I won't be the last. And so what kept me going was, I'm the underdog. We didn't have as many resources as the bigger businesses, but every single thing starts with a vision and an idea. And big businesses were once small businesses, and you hear amazing stories of people just selling fruit out the back of their truck, and now they're these big grocery stores and different things like that. And you got to understand that if someone else can do it, you can do it too. But you really want to make sure that you are investing in things that are your passion. You can't always be driven by money. Money's important, but you have to invest in things that you are passionate about, because when you invest in things that you are passionate about, you can grow and you can really thrive and you can really build upon that. For me, I wanted to make sure that I left here empty. And I think that most people, they'll tell you that they're afraid to die. They don't want to leave. They want to live forever, and we know that we're not going to live forever. And I think I found a way to leave a piece of me here in this world forever. Even long after I'm gone. When people drink a cup of coffee or they eat ice cream on a cone, they have to think about me. So you want to do things that your footprint can never be erased from this world.
That's powerful. And with social media out there, our young people are leaving footprints, whether for good or for bad,
Mm-hmm.
that can, push them forward and leave a legacy for their future, or take them 10 or 100 steps back because of what they
Right.
left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring on some young people so you can have a conversation with them. Would you like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And you're so inspirational. Can I get my
Yeah.
young people to show their faces? Are you guys ready? Justin, Skylar, we have Chance, and let's see. I see Sanai. Are you guys ready? Yes. Okay. Justin's ready.
Hi,
Hello, Justin. Hi,
guys.
Skylar.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are and where you're from, and then if you have any owning a business dreams, we can talk about it here. And you have great inspiration from executive chef Liz Rogers. Tell us who you are, Skylar. Introduce yourself.
So, hi, my name is Skylar Jefferson. I'm from Los Angeles, LA. So, yeah, I haven't really thought about like owning a business because I don't really know what the steps is and everything. I know like it would be cool to be an entrepreneur, but I haven't been down that path. But I did have a question for you.
Sure.
How many like locations are you in, and like how many shops do you have?
Ooh, that's a great
Sure.
question.
So it's very interesting. So Walmart and Kroger are the largest retailers in the world, and Creamalicious is, so we're national. So we're sold all over the country. So we're in Walmart, we're in Kroger, we're in Target, we're in Meyer, Jungle Gyms, Rouse's, and it's growing. So we're not just regional. So I would have to say we're in about 4 to 5 thousand stores, and growing from there.
Mm.
Okay. And then I also had another question. Like what was your first steps into transitioning from like ideas to like reality, you know?
Well, first, I talked about having a vision and having an idea. Like, I love sweets, and I always, when I talked about ice cream being the world's number one dessert, everybody loves ice cream, in some form or another, and it's a well known thing. So I wanted to do something again where I didn't have to convince someone that it was good, right? You can come up with idea, like say if I said, okay, I got salted caramel tree bark, and now I got to explain, like, nobody wants to eat tree bark, but I have to explain how it's made and how it tastes, and I have to convince people, and I knew that I wouldn't have to convince people about ice cream. But then you have the dessert concept to that, and people can get an Alamo kind of dessert in a pint, and this does not exist, and it's not marketed that way. So I felt like this was an amazing opportunity for us to create our own dessert category in our own niche as well. And I really wanted to be innovative because the category, it needs innovation in anything you do now, just because we do have social media and we have thousands of brands that do, everything. It's really hard to really come up with something that's, you know that's basically something that doesn't really exist in the
Like an
market.
original
Yeah.
idea.
And it's
Mhm.
hard to come up with anything original. But even sometimes the similarities to things, your spirit and what you put into the brand and how you convey the brand and how you brand things can make things a lot more different, even though it's conceptually kind of the same thing and have big similarities as well.
That's amazing. Thank you for asking such wonderful questions, Skylar. You're very intuitive. Even if you don't have an ideal right now for a business,
Hmm.
there's something inside of you that's inspiring you to think outside the box, to trailblaze. And that is the beginning of becoming an entrepreneur. It's just wanting to do something different and not being told how to do it.
Yeah.
And you want to do it yourself. You like, I can do it better. And that's the spirit of an entrepreneur. It's just knowing that you are an expert at something and you want to share it to the world. And you want to, you have such great ideas that you can't just be contained in a box.
Right.
Justin, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you reign from.
Hello, I'm Justin Coleman. I'm a senior. Skylar and I both go to the Boys Academic Leadership Academy. I'm a senior. Um, I have one question right now. It's brief. It's more on the mindset side of things.
Mhm.
Um, you're obviously at a level where you're doing well for yourself if you're in stores like that. Do you struggle with complacency? Have you ever felt comfortable or seen yourself get too comfortable?
No, I can honestly, all transparency, no. I mean, because my thing is like, once I hit something that I put forth for myself, I never compete with anybody else. It's really, I'm my only competition, right? I move how I move, when I move, and how I want to move. I never let anyone dictate that. I think one of my biggest struggles has been making sure that I am surrounded and I'm surrounding myself with like-minded people because I'm super creative. So it's very hard for me to be in the room sometimes with people that are not entrepreneurs or they don't have a like mind, and then I've struggled with kind of dimming my light sometimes because you want to make sure that you are around all people from all walks of life, because I feel like every person that you meet, you can learn something from that person. But you also have to put yourself in a position, when we talked about the mindset, where you can
Mhm.
thrive and that you can grow and that people are adding value to your life. You want people in
Mhm.
your life that is adding value to your life, no matter what, if it's a business or a friendship, no matter what, they have to add value to your life and they have to sow into you. And then you need to be able to add value to the people that you associate yourself with. And
Mhm.
you have to move in silence, and you can't share your dreams with everybody. You have to be very careful about when you have amazing ideas and sharing your dreams. You have to be careful on who you share your dreams with, because you can't do that with everyone. Not that anyone can steal your ideas, because we don't care about that. There's only one Justin, there's only one Skylar. Nobody will ever be able to duplicate you. But you want to be careful, because a lot of times when people can't do what you can do and they don't have the gifts that you have or that they haven't tapped into, a lot of times people can be very negative, and they don't know that they can be negative, which can kill your dreams. And you have to be careful, because your dream has to be the first thing that you think about in the morning, the last thing when you go to bed. You have to work at your dream every single minute that you can.
I love that. I love that you are inspiring young people to not give up. And you're talking to your younger self,
Yeah.
Chef Liz. It's easy to talk to our younger selves, Skylar and Justin. I'm going to bring on Miss Sanai. Sanai, are you ready to join us? All right, let's bring her on. Hi, Sanai.
Hi.
Hi,
Introduce yourself and
my
tell us where
name.
you're from.
Okay, my name is Sanai, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And I plan on starting a hydroponics-based greenhouse operation.
Mm.
So tell us a little bit more what that is, because a lot of people don't know what that is. And we had a great conversation on the phone about what you aspire to do.
hmm So hydroponics is growing food more sustainably than growing it in the ground. Some hydroponics, well, most of them are vertical, and you have like a tube and it has
Mhm.
water and it's no soil, so you don't have to expend energy on stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it's a
So
more
she,
accessible way to grow produce.
Wow. Amazing. And what inspired you to do that?
Um, well, I love growing things, especially right now. It's more of traditional, so like in dirt. But I think going out and looking in other communities and seeing food deserts, that it would be easier for them to have healthy food if that was accessible to them.
Hmm.
one thing that I love about Sanai's vision is that she's thinking long term,
Yeah.
and she's also thinking about a need now. One of the key things in business is to make sure that you can answer the call to solutions and find, whatever there's a need, you need to have the answer to that need. And there's a huge famine crisis, not just in food deserts like Sanai mentioned, but even if you go to the local grocery stores in cities, the shelves are barren of good quality produce, good quality meats, good quality food sources, because people are mass producing still in GMO and not healthy solutions. So I think this is a great opportunity for you to continue to study and be equipped and ready for the influctuation of what's going to come to your way, Sanai, as a food entrepreneur. Like you're growing as a
hmm
agriculturalist. That's part of STEAM.
Yeah.
um,
hmm
A is to like the fifth power. It's not just science, technology, engineering, arts. And we say arts, agricultural, AI, aviation, aerospace. We are putting agricultural in that because that's going to be a need. And there is a definite need in the next upcoming less than a decade away. We're going to be starving. And
Yeah.
if we don't have good quality food sources, what can you say to her, Chef Liz?
I really feel that your vision is just global, and that's what it is. The vision is just it's so much it's bigger. It's not a local mentality. It's global, and I think that's amazing. And although we strive to change in the world and leave our footprint in the world, we truly have an opportunity. Your reach is about that long, and if you touch someone, and then if they can touch someone, and before you know it, you're across the world. And I just think that's absolutely amazing, because what your vision is, it's bigger than you, and everyone has to understand, if you're going to make something happen, it has to be bigger than you. And that's how you have to think about it. It's about your legacy. It's about what you can do while you're here on this earth.
I love that. So young people, if you guys have questions, you guys can ask them. Put your thumbs up if you have a question, because you can go off from mute because I can prepare it. I have some people on mute because there's a little background noise, but um, there's so much to offer this audience here. All these young people here are high school students, and they're looking to get to that next level. Some are going to major in their gifts and their talents, and some are going to explore their options. What
Mhm.
can you say to young people who really don't know where to start in building a business? Like, how can you, where do you start? You said start with the dreaming
Oh
and
yeah, you
writing
gotta
down, but
put
where
it
do
on
you start?
paper. We got to put it on paper. You have to put your vision on paper. A lot of times it's very hard to articulate what your vision is, and starting to write it down is a big thing. The second thing is you have to take time to research. You have to take time to research what it is that you want to do, learn everything about it. The next piece is you never ever start a business without a business plan. You have to get someone to help you write a business plan, or go to liveplan.com, which is a really great business plan for you to subscribe to practice, because it asks you pointed questions about the things that you want to do.
Uh-oh, she just disappeared. So far, so good. Are you liking the conversation? She'll come back on.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys finding this information? Is it helpful for you?
Yes.
What's so helpful about it? Like, you can't just sit there and say, yes, it's helpful.
For me, I think like putting it on paper is definitely like something that's helpful, because she's right. Like a lot of people just say it or whatever, and then they don't go through the steps. And then also, not telling everybody like what you're doing is very helpful, and like watching the people around you and everything like that. So I think that's very helpful, and that's a tip that I would take into consideration.
Excellent, Skylar. Before you
Now,
got
one
put
more
off.
important thing too.
Yeah, go ahead, Executive.
One more important thing, and this is, two things. Never, you have to invest in the people that surround you. So you have to have a team. So you can't do anything without a team. It's very essential when you have a business to make sure you have a CPA, and you have an attorney, and you have an advisory board. That means that, whether it's your person at school, or Miss Debbie, or other people, you should have at least 3 to 5 people that you can go and they can advise you on different things. Make sure those people have an area of expertise in their own right, and you have to form an advisory board to ask, so you can ask questions and bounce things off. And then you have to listen to, because if you're getting advice from people that have a wealth of knowledge, that are super successful, you want to make sure that you stay close to those people and be like a sponge, and soak it up. The last thing is, under no circumstances do you give up. You might slow down, you might have to crawl, you walk, but you got to keep it moving. You cannot, under any circumstance, be afraid to fail, because you will fail in business. You are going to fail probably more times than you have success, but that does not ever mean that you give up. I can't tell you how many times Disney's failed. Steve Jobs. You are going to have failure, but you cannot be afraid to fail. You have to be fearless, because you can't have failure. You can't have success without failure. And failure isn't always a bad thing, because you learn so much from your mistakes that the next time you go and try to make that happen again, and you're not going to make those same mistakes, because those mistakes, they're part of your journey. And it's all about the journey. It's never, ever about the destination. So I want you guys to understand that, people will, try to scare you and say, oh, I wouldn't do it because it's not going to work. They're not you, and they don't have the capabilities that you have.
Exactly. I find that it's easy to, I got frozen just a little bit. I find that it's easy to let people into your ideas, but then it's hard to figure out where to grow from there. If that makes any sense. Like, for example, like, you have this great idea, you want to get it off and running, but then there's this one part of your idea you need help with, and asking for help from people who've trailblazed before is one of the key things that can actually help you make better decisions, as opposed to just fumbling. I love the advice of creating an advisory board. And how would you define what an advisory board is?
Well, I personally would define what an advisory board is, to the things that I would need in my business: legal advice, financial advice, leadership. The leadership is everything. I mean, you have to be an exceptional leader, but people that have successful businesses, it doesn't matter if they're in your field or not, but people that have the education and the wealth of knowledge, and these things are really recipes to having a successful business. We know that we have to have a plan, and I talked about the business plan. The business plan helps you, and you should do your own plan. I really personally don't like when people have other people write their business plan, because no one really knows about what you want to do more than yourself. You need to write your own business plan. It's okay to get help to write your business plan, but you need to write your own business plan for aid so you can learn how to write more business plans, because business plans need to be updated too, right? If you have a business and you start a business with yourself right now, that's considered a one-man show, a mom and pop. But if you ever want to scale or expand your business, you know that you're going to have a lot of people involved to scale and expand the business. And what that means is, like, when you're starting your business and you're by yourself, if you get sick, the business stops. You can't go on vacation. You can't do anything. Everything stops. So if you want the business to keep going and you want the business to grow, you know that one of the biggest things is you're going to have to invest in a team and leadership. And you are the head of the team, which means you have to be a great leader, and you have to hire leaders as well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So young people, ask some more questions. I don't want to take up all the time myself. I want to make sure you guys can ask questions. Go ahead. There is. I think there's.
I had another question. So, like, you know how you say you had a team and everything. So, like, did you have investors, or who was the people that you had around you when you first started your business?
So the first person I had around me was just myself, and then just a few friends that I had. But they were, my one friend was the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce, Sean Ruggless. Super dope guy, very, very intelligent, amazing leadership. The other person was my attorney. And then I kind of built from there. These people gave me really great advice. They were able to really help me a lot with bringing my vision to fruition. And then I kind of build upon there. Um, I first started, I was my only and first investor. You have to invest in yourself first. Nobody's going to ever invest in you unless you invest in yourself. Nobody's ever going to invest in an idea just because we have an idea. People want things already going, right? So we know that our ideas are brilliant. We know that it can work. But you, in order to get investors, things have to be going, because most investors, they don't want to have to bring our business to market. They don't want to put the time in for the operations and different things like that. So you have to be an expert in your business and your brand. You have to consider yourself a brand, and you have to know everything there is to know about the business so that you yourself can pitch an investor and get them to invest their money. But first, a person is going to want to see you invest in yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means you have to go work for someone else, I mean, I think in the beginning of my journey, I had 3 jobs, and I still don't have a problem going to work for someone else to get the money to invest in myself to make my business grow. So there's nothing wrong with working a job and investing, because sometimes that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. 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 I find it really good to actually start businesses while you're in college or in school.
Yeah.
It's important because you can create a lot of different ways of solving the problem with real feedback, like a peer feedback. Like, you guys are friends, Skylar and Justin. You guys go out there and start a business, or one person starts a business, and then you're getting feedback from the other. How did these clothes fit? How did my hair look? Or, is this the right thing that you wanted to do and express? I love that young people there's a built-in ecosystem in your high schools, in your colleges, where you can actually lean on one another. What kind of advice can you give to young people about creating businesses now before it's, they start working that 9 to 5 traditionally?
Yeah, you start small and you do what you can do, and you never know what that idea may grow into. You really should start your business now if that's what you choose to do on your spare
Mhm.
time. That's what you need to be working on, is your business. It's so competitive out here. We have so many young entrepreneurs. We have the young lady that has the lemonade. I'm not even sure how old she is. She may be 10, and she ended up being on Shark Tank, and her lemonade, the bee lemonade, it's actually in the stores. um, but then you have young people making millions of dollars being influencers on Instagram. They've started food blogs and different things like that, and that is a business, and it should start now. Never, ever, ever wait to manifest or go for your dream. Because you're going to
Mhm.
have so many. There's going to be so many opportunities for you to just have so many things that you can do. You're probably going to have like you'll have hundreds of ideas. Will you have time or be able to execute all of them? No. But guess what? You can do as many as you want, and just enjoy the journey, because that's what it's about. It's all about the journey. You have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose by going for your dream ever.
Mhm. Mhm. This is wonderful. I think one of the things that it's hard for us as entrepreneurs, because I'm an entrepreneur also, is that you have to know that every day is a work day.
Yeah.
Every day is a hustle. Every day is taking care of your personal brand. You can't leave your vision to others unless it's ready to work all out on its own, meaning like it's so powerful, it's doing so well, it's so well known that people, you don't even have to market anymore, you don't have to advertise anymore, you can just show up and just collect checks and wave your hand. And but how is it being an entrepreneur now after COVID? What is it like to be trailblazing in this economy, in this era, for you,
it,
Jeff?
it, it's definitely different, a little bit more different from for me, because I'm the first person in my category to do something like this. So I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a great deal. So
She just faded out. There we go.
um, it's been the most interesting journey for me, because I'm just really growing my brand, and so I'm not really sure what it would have been like pre-COVID, or is it better, is it worse? It's just kind of hard to say. But for me, every day is a learning experience. Every year that we close out, it's like, okay, what would I have done differently? What could I have done differently? And you just have to learn from your mistakes, and you have to make basically try to find all the best tools that's going to work for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to our young people. What are some final words of wisdom? Or if our young people, you have any final questions or any words that you want to give to encourage Chef Liz here about her journey, or vice versa? Chef Liz, do you have any words of encouragement to our young people here who are aspiring to do well in life and succeed, and wherever it leads to them?
You
Uh,
get one life, and never give up on your dreams, and it's never about the destination. It's always about the journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone in the chat has a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, what's the question? Chloe, you have a question. Do you want to come on, Chloe, and ask the question? Or do you want to ask it in the chat? I want to give you the time. She said, yes, please. Coming on, coming on, coming on. Hold on just a second. Give me a second. I'm bringing you on. I'm bringing you on. We're getting here. It seems like your device is not connected. So your mic is not connected. You're going to have to ask it in the chat then. So while she said, all right. While she's asking in the chat, anybody else want to leave what have you learned from this experience, or any words of encouragement to Chef Liz about her journey, or any other questions while you're here,
Quick
Justin or
question
Sanaa?
about networking. How do you go about networking with people?
Well, networking just happens all the time. You just have to be, I feel like you have to be approachable. You have to be at the right place at the right time. And, I always talk to everybody if I'm at a restaurant or if I'm sitting, like, say, if I have, it was really interesting. We had went to a steakhouse restaurant about a month ago, and they didn't have any seats. So we had to sit at the bar, and we ended up striking up a conversation with someone at the bar, and he ended up being a buyer for one of the grocery stores. So you just never know who you're talking to. You never know like who knows someone or who can help you, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're accessible to people. You want to put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there in your brand, and just really, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Ask for help. Ask people, well, do you know someone that you can introduce me to help? Because somebody might know somebody to know somebody until you get to the people that you want. And just be open to change.
And one of the things Chef's List spoke about when she first started is that she's following her purpose. And
Yeah.
when you're following your purpose, there's divine connections that happen without you even trying. Just like she's meeting a buyer for a grocery store at a restaurant, just happened to be there at the same time. Those are all divine interactions when you're following purpose. And it'll keep telling you, it's like the creator telling you, you're going the right path. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever your inner beliefs are, your spirituality, there's always going to be something that's going to nudge you to the right place. So we have a question in the chat by Chloe S. If you could do one thing differently using the information you know now, what would it be?
If I can do one thing differently, knowing what I know now, I would definitely not chase the shiny thing. Like in my journey of owning restaurants, I really, you can get like, you have so many things coming at you, and I would just be a little bit more patient, and not chase the shininess. Never take the easy road. Never cut any corners. Never do any of those things. And these are things that will happen earlier on your entrepreneurial journey. You're gonna just want to have a business. You're gonna want to just be open somewhere. You're gonna want to, be the boss. I don't know. People have so many. I think they have a lot of unrealistic expectations as it relates to a business. People just think that, oh, I'm just going to open something and people are just going to come and they're just going to buy. You have to work really, really hard, but you can't take all the opportunities that you think are in front of you. You just have to make sure that you do research, and you have to make sure that you are diligent and being very cautious of the opportunities that you take.
Well, I want to also, expand on that, just a small tidbit. A lot of people look at social media and they see the end result. Oh, look, I got the big house and the car. I'm going on the great vacation, but they don't know the journey it took to get there. And the journey it took to get there, it can be a lot of hard knocks. If you're an athlete out there, you know what it takes to get out there. You're going to have to wake up every day and practice. You're going to have to practice twice as hard as the next person. If you want to be like Kobe, you're going to have to practice extra hard, because he was waking up at 4 a.m. to get to practice and showed up 2 hours before the game started most of the time to actually play the game. So do what it takes to get there. Let's see, we might have another question in the chat. And while we're asking questions, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so you guys can follow us on social media, all social media platforms at So Creamalicious, and we're in
Mm-hmm.
all the stores. And you can go to socreamalicious.com and put in your zip code, and you'll see where to find us as well to buy the ice cream. So we're all over the place. So I'd love for you guys to try it.
Okay, and then her social media is at it's right here. It's coming up. Find Creamalicious on social media at So Creamalicious. And then Chef Liz, your social media handle is at Chef Liz. I'm
Mhm.
super excited for all the things that you're doing and your brand. And I want to thank you again for joining us for this wonderful Entrepreneurs Academy Ice Cream Dreams. And again, that was Miss Chef, Executive Chef. You know, being an executive chef is bigger than just being a chef. That means you're controlling the entire menu, the kitchen, the ideas, right? Is that
Yes.
correct?
That's true. It's a very big leadership position. Sometimes your sous chef is way more skilled, but and the executive chef is the leader. We control everything, and people look to you to lead.
Excellent. And that's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is leading the charge, the vision, taking it to the next level. And I want to thank you guys for joining us, our young people, for asking questions. They were so profound. You guys are smart, intelligent, beautiful, handsome, all the above. And you have so much to offer the world just you being you. Again, I want to thank our studio audience for joining us in the backstage and asking questions, and also to our virtual audience abroad. You continue to dream big. This is Elevate Your Games Entrepreneurs Academy, and I am your host, Mrs. Denise Parker, for National College Resources Foundation and the NCRF TV network. Again, thank you. Until next time. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.